Hello everyone, you are on the channel Through the Ages with Max. History of the first telephones. In the history of science and technology, the appearance of the telephone was a real revolution in communications. The idea of transmitting sound over a distance dates back to experiments in the late 19th century. The key moment in this process was the discovery of Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell, a Scottish inventor, had a deep interest in sound waves and speech. His work with the deaf and dumb and research in acoustics led to the creation of the first telephone device in 1876. Bell realized his idea by converting sound waves into electrical signals and back. His first telephone consisted of a membrane that vibrated under the influence of sound and created an electric current. This current was then transmitted through wires to another device, where it was converted back into sound. In parallel with Bell's work, other scientists were conducting research. For example, the Italian inventor Antonio Meucci also created devices for voice transmission and patented his telephone in 1871. But his contribution remained unnoticed for a long time. Bell's telephone was patented in 1876 and was soon commercialized. In 1877, the first telephone company, the Bell Telephone Company, was founded. Over the next few years, telephones began to be installed in homes and offices, although initially they were expensive and only available to the wealthy. By the early 1880s, the telephone network began to expand, and new technologies improved the quality of communication. In 1881, the first long-distance call was made between Boston and Chicago. In the same year, manual telephone exchanges began to appear, which made it possible to switch calls. As technology developed, problems with connection became apparent. One phone could only connect to one other. In 1883, a solution was proposed, an automatic telephone exchange. The first such exchange appeared in Salt Lake City in 1892 and made it possible to significantly simplify the process of connecting subscribers. In parallel, other aspects of telephone technology were also rapidly developing, including the improvement of microphones and speakers. Advances in electrical engineering, including the development of inductors and amplifiers, also contributed to improved communication quality. By 1900, telephones became affordable to a wider population. As demand increased, telephones began to be mass-produced, which led to a reduction in their cost. This, in turn, contributed to the spread of the telephone network throughout the country and beyond. By the mid-20th century, the telephone had become an integral part of everyday life. The advent of symmetrical wire technology and the further development of automatic telephone exchanges made telephone lines more reliable and accessible. Since then, telephone technology has continued to evolve. In the 1960s, work began on wireless technologies, which eventually led to the creation of cell phones in the 1980s, and then to smartphones in the early 21st century. Thus, the history of the first telephones is a fascinating journey from simple devices designed to communicate over a distance to the complex technologies that shape our lives today. This process was made possible by the work of some and the inspiration of others, highlighting the importance of the interaction of science, technology, and human thought. Telephones continued to evolve throughout the 20th century. The advent of various technologies such as analog and digital communications led to an increase in the quality of sound transmission and an increase in the number of users. In 1927, the first television-telephone connection took place, an event that opened the door for further experiments in the field of multimedia. Since the middle of the century, the telephone has become not only a means of voice communication, but also a tool for transmitting data. In 1965, the first fax machine was introduced, which allowed for the transmission of graphic information. Modems soon followed, which made it possible to exchange data over telephone lines. Today, telephone technology continues to evolve. 5G, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things, IoT, are already shaping the way we think about communications. Advances in communications have demonstrated how a once simple device can become a powerful tool in business, education, healthcare, and other areas. Thus, the history of telephones is not only a history of technical achievements, but also a reflection of changes in human relationships and interactions. Each stage of the development of telephone technology has had a significant impact on society, And in the future, we will certainly see further changes that will change the way we think about communication.